Good afternoon. It's another week on the channel here. I didn't get to ride or anything this week, but I thought I would go over something that younger people, and I guess even including people that are older than me, they had it worse off than I did. It was motorcycle riding, skateboarding, snow skiing, all these things. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have opportunity to see things like this. I used to record the X Games on VHS every year and replay them because that stuff it wasn't available. And I was going to show something that I came across in my shop. I forgot I even had it almost. And I used to read this thing and look over it, and it was old when I was a kid, but I loved this. This is Motorcycle Trials, Techniques and Training by Lane Leavitt, or Leavitt. And in this book, it's got, I think this was printed in the late 70s. I think her name's Debbie Evans. She does a lot of the techniques. Let me see here. Let's see here. This is a guy named Bernie Schreiber doing a float turn. And they're not on gases or betas. They're on a Bull Taco. And some of them are on Hondas. Whenever they weren't called Montesas, they were actually Honda trials bikes. Montesa was its own company. And they're also even older things. I think there's some guys in here on BSAs and Matchlesses and pictures from the 60s. I loved seeing this stuff, even though it was black and white photos. Some of that stuff just blew my mind. I don't know what I would have done if I would have seen guys doing double blips and splatters and all this stuff that we see now. And they were doing that stuff in the 90s when I was growing up, but I just didn't see it. This guy's going up and over a rock wall, but this lady here is pretty damaged. I've used it a lot. Let me see here. Yeah, here she is, practicing some balance and stuff. This lady her and her husband ended up doing most of the motorcycle stunts in Hollywood for decades, and I think they still are involved with that. But that was my world. That was my YouTube. Magazines, I used to have Dirt Bike Magazine, Ride BMX for a long time, years, and I would just look at every page, and then you would read a little how-to article, and somehow from the steps that you were reading over and over and over, you would try to recreate this trick or this maneuver. I used to static balance, or in the BMX world they call it track standing. I'd try to do that and just see how long I could balance. But I thought I'd share that. Anyone have a copy of this? To my knowledge, the guy I showed doing the float and turn, Bernie Schreiber, is the only there's been many U.S. champions, but he was the only world champion from the United States in history, I think. But it's funny because, like, in England, there's a guy named Doug Lampcombe. His family is in here. It's just amazing because even back then, the trials world was a small place, and it still is. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good week.